ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
अमे च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैवावनिपालसङ्घैः भीष्मो द्रोणः सूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहास्मदीयैरपि योधमुख्यैः वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमाणा विशन्ति दंष्ट्राकरालानि भयानकानि केचिद्विलग्ना दशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः यथा नदीनां बहवोऽम्बुवेगाः समुद्रमेवापि मुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवामि नरलोकवीरा विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्ति यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतङ्गाः विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगाः तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकाः तवापि वक्त्राणि समृद्धवेगाः लेलिह्यसे ग्रसमानः समन्तात् लोकान् समग्रान् वदनैर्ज्वलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रम् वासस्तवोग्रा प्रतपन्ति विष्णो आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपः नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम् न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम् श्रीभगवानुवाच कालोऽस्मि लोकक्षयकृत् प्रवृद्धः लोकान् समाहर्तुमिह प्रवृत्तः ऋथेऽपि त्वां भविष्यन्ति सर्वे येव स्थिता प्रत्यनीकेषु योधाः तस्मात्त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम् मयैवैते निहता पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन् द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णं तथान्यानपि योधवीरान् मया हतांस्त्वं जहिमा व्यतिष्ठा युध्यस्व जेतासि रणे सपत्नान् सञ्जय उवाच एतच्छ्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमानः किरीटी नमस्कृत्य भूय एवाह कृष्णम् सगद्गतं भीत भीत प्रणम्य।
Two questions. Number one, chapter 11, verses 26-27. The stages are wonderment, fear, bhakti. You said you said fear turns to respect bhakti when you realize that the punishment is also for your welfare. But in creation, maintenance, destruction, how to understand both creation and destruction aspect is also for one's welfare only. Wonderment, fear, bhakti is the stages. Fear turns to respect or bhakti when you realize that the punishment is also for your welfare. But in creation, maintenance, destruction, how to understand both creation and destruction aspect is also for one's welfare only. Answer. Creation, maintenance, destruction is the total vision of life. Are you able to follow? Creation, maintenance, destruction is the total, the totality of life consists three factors: creation, maintenance, destruction. That is a separate concept that we are not discussing here. Creation, anything, all that is created has three: creation, maintenance, destruction. It's a factual statement, that's all. In this chapter, what we are talking about is Arjuna going through stages: wonderment, fear, and bhakti. I was only trying to explain when will fear turn into bhakti? Fear. First of all, why fear? What is the reason for fear? What do you fear? What is it that people fear? What is it that you fear? What is it that anybody fear? Pain. Fear means pain. Are you able to follow? Fear means it is pain. What is the pain that Arjuna is seeing? What is the pain that Arjuna is seeing here? Destruction happening elsewhere is not a problem. Somebody dying in some third country is not the problem. Somebody making a loss somewhere is not a problem. So pain, fear of pain stems from what? Only when you see as personal loss. Again, only when you see a personal loss, there is the fear of pain. And you want to avoid the pain, whatever the human being does to avoid the pain. What is happening here in the three stages? The first stage of wonderment is there for the first stage of wonderment. Sunlight. You see the sunrise, the color. What is the reaction? Wonderment. 15 minutes continue to stand under the sun. 1 hour, continue to stand under the sun, what happens? The heat comes, the pain starts, and you want to move away from it. Are you able to follow? Then comes the third stage, bhakti. Whenever we go there, we'll discuss that. So, in order to explain how creation, maintenance, destruction is for one's welfare, that is an irrelevant question in this context. It is not the relevant question here because creation, maintenance, destruction is a factual statement of creation. Creation, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, creation, maintenance, destruction is there. For one's welfare, there is no one's welfare when it comes to the totality. That's how you have to understand. The world is not created for one's welfare. Creation is got 3. That's all. Distinct and different from that is another statement. What is another statement? What is another statement? Where you fear punishment, when you understand that punishment is also for your own welfare, will you fear that? It's 2 different concepts, 2 different contexts. You should not mix the 2. Are you able to follow? When you understand punishment means you think it's harming you, injuring you, against you. The word punishment implies what? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? Punishment means you see it as against you. Punishment means you think it is anti you. Punishment means somebody is intentionally wanting to cause injury to you, pain to you. Dharma, divine, doesn't punish in that way. So even if a pain comes, that pain is also for your own. That pain is also for your own welfare. That is how the fear of pain goes away. The right knowledge, the right understanding, how the fear of pain will go away. I was trying to explain that. How the fear of pain will go away when you understand it as it is also good for you. We have 2 Sanskrit words. Mangalam means good. Opposite of Mangalam is? What is opposite of Mangalam? Amangalam. Death is, profit is Mangalam, loss is Amangalam. Birth is Mangalam, death is everything. We have like the higher and lower, no good and bad, no. Pain is always seen as bad. Pleasure is always seen as good and pain is always seen as bad. When a pain comes to you, that pain is also blessed by the divine and that is also for your welfare. There, what happens when you develop this understanding? The fear of pain goes away and you are grateful to the pain. You develop gratitude to the pain. You develop gratitude to the law that is making you go through the pain so that human being learns only through pain. They don't understand through knowledge. If we all can learn through knowledge, we all should have become wise by now. But we cannot learn through knowledge. We always learn through pain and suffering. Are you able to follow? Therefore, the pain is that which is beneficial. That's all. Creation, maintenance, destruction is a totally different concept. Both have no connection. This is answering the first question. Do you have anything in specific? Yes.
Because I was thinking creation and destruction in terms of birth and death. That's first thing. And birth of something is also sometimes seen as inimical, as just like destruction of something is seen as inimical. For example, birth of COVID. It's a disease. You fear it is inimical. I don't see what is welfare or goodness in that. We say it is totality, but what goodness lies in that? I'm genuinely wanting to know how it is welfare of.
The question that she is asking clarification is birth of COVID, how it is good.
That's just an example.
Birth of COVID, how it is good. Okay, another example.
Okay, if I go back to history and I say a dinosaur is born once again, that ruled once upon a time on Earth. Okay, so when you see for the first time, you will have a wow feeling. Wow, it is so big, so giant. But the next moment, it will send fears in us. Because the size is so big that it is basically.
Question.
Yeah, so it's the birth of something again.
Now, this is semantics.
So how do you go
This
with
is
that?
this called semantics. Semantics means playing with words. Creation means birth.
Yes.
Destruction means death. Birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. Birth of something is beneficial to that. Birth of COVID is beneficial to COVID virus. It is beneficial to some, harmful to another. Therefore, totality means, what is totality? I gave the answer already. Totality means it doesn't worry about a single person. It is not beneficial for one or another. Totality means there are these two happens. What are the two things that happens in totality? What are the two things that happens? Birth and continuous change. And the change, that change which is beneficial to one is the change that is detrimental to the other. We have studied this any number of times. How it is beneficial? What is benefit, first of all? Don't move away from the context of what we are discussing. Fear. I'm trying to explain wonderment, fear, and bhakti. Don't take the discussion away from the flow. When will fear turn into bhakti? When will fear turn into bhakti? That is the question. Nobody asked this question. I'm asking the question and I'm answering. That's why classes is always soliloquy. You know that? No, nobody asks any question. I keep asking the question. I keep answering. As though people are very much interested in asking questions. When will fear turn into bhakti? Only when you see the pain as bhakti means what? That which is beneficial to you is bhakti. Is pain beneficial to you? When you are not in pain, you will say, yeah, pain is beneficial. When you are in pain, you will say pain is not beneficial. When you are not in pain, you will say pain is beneficial. It means deep down, we hate pain because we think pain means it is injury. Pain means it is inimical. We are not yet matured enough to understand pain as an integral part of life and be grateful to it. That's why that basic understanding of how can you ever understand death is good? You can understand birth is good. How can you understand death is good? But nevertheless, the truth is death is good. You have to have the maturity to accept it. You need to have the maturity to accept it as beneficial. How it is beneficial? Maturity will help you to understand. If you don't have the maturity, it's a difficult pill to swallow. Why it is a difficult pill to swallow? You come with an understanding already. You come with an expectation into life. What is the expectation that you come into life? The expectation with which every human being comes into life is what? Only sukham, no dukkham. That's all. Which is foolish. Are you able to follow? All the questions are arising from this foolishness. What is the foolishness? Only sukham, no dukkham. How come dukkham be beneficial? That's because you are not willing to accept that dukkham is an integral part of life. Who's the creator? This is bhakti. Who's the creator? God is the creator. Since he has created, everything in his creation has something good in it. Full stop. If there are two people sitting and creating, God and devil, all that God created is good, all that devil created is bad. And obviously, God created me, I am good. God created you, the devil. Where is the difficulty? Because we have two sets of creators. Are you able to follow? If you say God is the only creator, then it is very clear. What is it that is very clear? Everything in the creation is divine. But then you will say, no, how can rapist be divine? How can a terrorist be divine? How can the fellow who's not paying the maintenance be divine? How come the fellow not paying the taxes divine? Therefore, there is nothing in divine. There is nothing called divine in life, except me. Srikanth. என்ன தவிர டிவைனே கண்ணுக்கு தெரியல சார். Are you able to follow? Very difficult to accept the truth of life. What is the truth of life? All that is happening is divine. If you see it differently, it is your problem. Again, all that is happening here is divine. Old man dying is natural, sir. 25-year-old kid dying is unnatural. Are you able to follow? Will you say this? If your daughter is dead, will you say this? Whether my daughter dies or somebody dies, all that is happening is divine. All that is happening is divine. Don't worry, nobody can accept this statement. Nobody will be able to accept this statement because we have the habit, we are so conditioned dividing life into good and bad. We don't say good and bad, it is divine. It is divine. You follow? Next clarification. Verses 28-29. River and moth, both symbolic of Vega, destroys you completely. Please explain 28-29 again. Couldn't follow both the verses. Yes, I didn't finish it last week. We are going to continue. We are going to continue with the two verses. What is the clarification by Mala? Is there any clarification? Same question. Suddenly a doubt after listening to your last Gita class, where you said person with devotion will see God in everything action. So if I see a wrong act and if I see it as God's act, will it not lead to accepting it and yielding to it? We normally shun the person doing the wrong act. Any legal system too does it as a means of justice to the victim. I am a bit confused. Could you elaborate the meaning of seeing every happening as God's action by a person with devotion? The same question. This is what we explained just now. Very difficult to accept. Very difficult to accept. All that is happening is God's action versus human action. What is the difference between the two? In human action, okay, what is human action? Kartritva. God's action? No kartritva. Full stop. Where there is kartritva, the law will take care of you. Where there is no kartritva, there is no law that can, there is no legal system that can come and bind you. Again, I repeat, God's action is without kartrutva. All human actions are backed with kartrutva. I am the doer of good, sir. Doesn't matter. I am the doer is important. Good or bad is irrelevant. Human being has to say, I am the, human being has to have this notion, I am the doer. Whether it is doing good or bad, what you do, good or bad, is irrelevant. But the kartrutva has to be there. I am the doer. And when we say God's action, devotion, that is why this devotion, God's action and all is impossible for human beings. And that which is the most impossible thing, people believe bhakti is very easy. People say bhakti is very easy, very easy. I always used to think, how can bhakti be very easy? Because bhakti means to accept everything is divine. Whatsoever happening is divine. How can you accept that? How can you even digest that thought? Because you look around, there is nothing that is happening. There is nothing that is happening right. You look around. You follow? In all these, what is the fundamental flaw in this thinking? There is a fundamental flaw in this thinking. What is a fundamental law? What is a fundamental flaw? What is the fundamental flaw in all this thinking, from where this question is arising? Good and bad, victim, victor, legal system also does it. Even the question that Ranjini asked, there is a fundamental flaw in the thinking. What is the fundamental flaw?
I am supreme.
What is the fundamental flaw? I am supreme. What is the fundamental flaw? The fundamental flaw is I know. You cannot bow down and say, I don't know. All these questions arises from I know. On what basis I know? Because I am the one who's going through the pain. No. Who's going through the pain? Since I am the one who's going through the pain, I know. Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna comes in beautifully and says, you don't know. Ah, correct, sir. Others don't know. You like to give lecture to another saying you don't know. But you cannot tell yourself, I don't know. And even when you say, I don't know, there is a very big ego that will stand behind that statement. I don't know. See, even when I say, I don't know, you should appreciate my humility, no, sir. At least you should appreciate my humility and say, I don't know compared to others, no? Not. Impossible. Are you able to follow? What is the fundamental flaw in all these questions? When it comes to the totality, you are not able to say, I don't know why it is happening. When you say, I don't know why it is happening, you should say, I can never ever know. When you say why, it's not an answer. It is to say, it is to accept the limitation of your instrument and say, I can never ever know. Are you able to follow? But but your ego comes with a very clear understanding of what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, who's right, who is wrong. You are the center of the creation. You are the most important person according to you in the total creation, and everybody is ganged up either for you or against you. Bhakti means what? Bhakti means what? You remove yourself. Very difficult is to remove oneself. Very difficult. Are you able to follow? Same question, malas. It's not a different question. Worded differently. Question remains the same. Same question, we all keep asking, wording it differently, that's all. And the wordings makes us to believe we are asking a different question. There is only one question. What is that one question? I know. I know. Krishna should agree with what I know, no? How can Krishna say something which is different from what I know? Avladhan question. Isn't it? I know killing Bhishma and Drona is wrong. I know. killing Bhishma Drona is wrong. So what should Krishna do? What should Krishna do? Agree with him. When he says, no, you are wrong, how can you say that? You cannot accept it. You cannot accept it because you accept the knowledge. That's why I always keep saying, anybody agrees to Vedanta means one or two statement in that class agreed to your preconceived notion. You will say class is very good. If some statements are not in agreement with your preconceived notion, you will go back saying, today's class wasn't that. Today's class wasn't that good. All it means what? It has to be in agreement with, it has to be in agreement with you, isn't it? You follow? Mind means politician. All of us function through the mind. We are all politicians. Politicians worry about what is good, what is bad. Actually, they don't worry about what is good, what is bad. What I am saying is good. And what you are saying is bad. That's a very clear. And we all like politics only 90%, isn't it? Newspaper, breaking news, 90% of it is only politics, no? Correct? Who's right? Who's wrong? Is this fellow right? Is that fellow right? That fellow went to jail, is he correct? Or the fellow who arrested him, is he correct? Who's right? Who's wrong? Very good entertainment it is. Against the law. Against the law. But sir, should we accept it? Is the question. If something wrong happens, then should we accept it? Kitva papam na avapsyasi. Though killing, you will not incur sin, Arjuna. Can you make that statement? Can you understand that statement? In chapter 2, he said, though killing, you will not incur sin. The most revolutionary statement, only a divine can make that statement. Though killing, you don't incur sin. You kill, you will incur sin. Why? Because you do with kartrutva. You do good also, you incur sin. Even the goodness that you do is also sinful only. Kshine punye. Why? Because even the goodness that you do is backed by kartrutva. Hitva papam na vapsyasi. What a statement he makes in verses 22-23. Though killing, you will not incur sin, Arjuna. If Isavasya Upanishad says, Tena tyaktena bunjitam is the revolutionary statement. Bhagavad Gita revolutionary statement is, though killing, you will not incur. Though killing, you will not incur sin. Does that mean I start killing? Yes, start killing. Consequences come also, you should be happy with it. Why? Because you know actions only with kartrutva. You don't know actions without kartrutva. What does kartrutva means? What does kartrutva means? That ego. That ego. And we are so much aligned with our ego, we don't even see it as obnoxious. We are so comfortable with our ego. What is the way to break the ego? That's why we say go and ask for help, go and beg for help. Ego goes down. No, go and beg, go and ask. Oh, no, sir, I am a self-sufficient person. I will not do all that. I am only a giver. I don't take. You take sunlight from sun. What have you given back to the sun? To say that you are not, you are only the giver. Are you able to follow? Raj. Oh, I'm only a giver, sir. I don't take at all. Krishna will laugh at you and Vedanta will laugh at you, say, what you don't know the truth. You are only the taker. But the ego makes you not to. See, that's why, have you ever observed, you feel so uncomfortable even to ask for a glass of water, no? You go to somebody's house, you're always sitting on the edge waiting to run away from that. You can't even sit on the sofa completely. Why? Even to ask for a glass of water, you feel so uncomfortable. Why? That much of ego. This is called kartrutva. And a person of kartrutva, there is a consequence to that. What is the consequence to that? Pain, sorrow, suffering is the consequence of kartrutva. God's action, divine action means any action done without kartrutva is divine action. Actions done without, you cannot isolatedly do actions without kartrutva. You cannot for 10 minutes I'll do actions without kartrutva, rest of the time kartrutva comes. Either I have it or I don't have it. 90% of kartrutva has gone, sir. 10% is still there. No, kartrutva is there. What is bhakti? What is devotion? Devotion is the effort you make to crush your kartrutva. Devotion is the effort you make. But then the very devotion itself makes people so egoistic. Now, what do we do? If, like we say, humility itself is making people egoistic, no? Remember that statement? I am the most humblest of all. I am the most humblest of all. Can there be more egoistic statement than this? I am the most humblest of all. You follow? Verses 28 and 29. Two examples. River and the moth. Have you ever seen how the river enters the ocean? Has anybody seen how the river enters the ocean? How does it enter the ocean? It branches off into 100 small streams. It branches off into 100 small streams and then it enters. You know that, no? It's not like one river straight going and entering the ocean. It doesn't go like that. That speed, that relentlessness with which it wants to enter the ocean, the vega. Two examples is giving. One is the river entering the ocean. Another is the moth. Both are equated to entering the mouth. Again, mouth is symbolic of time. The Kala Tattva it's called. Everything is swallowed by, everything gets swallowed by time. So time is symbolic, the mouth is symbolic of Kala. Blazing mouth, he says. Why it is blazing? Initially, brightness attracts and later its heat destroys. Again, I repeat. Initially, the brightness of the light is attracting. What is destroying? The moth. What destroys the moth? The brightness of the light attracts the moth. What destroys the moth? The heat. The passions are so attractive in the beginning, and then the heat of passions burns you down. Are you able to follow? It is very attractive. Initially, it is attractive, and later it heats, destroys. How to explain? The vega with which everybody is rushing towards their own destruction. Everybody is rushing towards their own destruction. The rivers relentlessly, with speed, move towards the ocean, wanting destruction. The moth goes round the flame, embraces the flame, and gets destroyed. What makes the moth go round the flame? Attraction. Are you able to follow? What makes the moth go? The attraction of the flame. The brightness is so attractive. Brightness comes with, that's where buddhi, that's where knowledge comes. Brightness comes with the heat that will burn you up. That is the passion. It is so enchanting in the beginning. The same heat burns you up. Therefore, all these people following the materialistic, passionate ways of life and living are swallowed by time. All the materialistic, worldly people chase objects and beings of the world only to get swallowed by the time. And when it gets swallowed, it's a total destruction. It's a complete destruction. These are the two examples, moth and the river. Yes.
Because all this time, river and ocean example has been used for Jiva Brahma Aikyam.
Yes.
Now we are using it for destruction.
Correct.
So I'm not able to understand why and how it is being used for destruction.
Yes. All along, the question is very good. All along, river entering the ocean is always used as Jiva Brahma Aikyam only, never as destruction. Now, Krishna is using that, since the example is there in the verse, we are trying to explain what is meant. All along, we never use, when we go to verse number 30, we will forget verse number 28. River entering the ocean will come back to what? Apurya Manam Achala Pratishtam only, it will come back to. Since here this example is used, we are trying to explain what is meant. That's all. What is meant? It is relentlessly rushing towards what? Towards its own destruction. Rivers, the speed with which it is rushing towards, it is poetry. You have to understand the poetry behind it. It is relentlessly rushing towards it for its own destruction, as it were. All human beings are performing actions towards their own self-destruction. That's what he's trying to explain. All actions that human being does is for self-destruction. Self-destruction can be in Naraka, self-destruction can be in Swarga. Doesn't matter. But both are self-destruction. Bahavaha Ambuvega, many streams. The force is so much that it splits itself into many streams and goes and enters the ocean, as it were. Not slowly entering, gushing and rushing. Not slowly entering, gushing and rushing. Since the example is used here, we are trying to explain that example. We are not creating this example here. We are not bringing in this example. Arjuna is using this. Arjuna is using this example, and we are elaborating what this example means. You follow? Second example that he used is moth. It's poetic way of saying people are committing suicide. You do action to commit suicide. From birth to death, what are you doing? Committing suicide. Going to Swarga is one type of suicide, Shine Punye. Going to Naraka, straight away you understand it as suicide. But nevertheless, both are suicides only. Why? Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Why do we call it as that? Because it is Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. With great enthusiasm and speed. Everybody is doing action with great enthusiasm. Everybody is doing action with great speed, with so much of energy, what they call so much of positivity, etc. Everything. It is like what? Like the moth circling the flame. The enthusiasm with which the moth circles the flame, the positivity with which the moth circles the flame, the energy with which the moth circles the flame, only to get what? For their own destruction. For their own destruction. Lokaha vishanti. Lokaha vishanti means they enter the burning mouths and never return. What is Arjuna seeing? Arjuna is seeing the consequences of your own action. You don't see the consequences of your action when you are doing it. Arjuna is seeing it. Arjuna is seeing it. If this is more difficult to digest, some of this river and moth examples and all is difficult to explain. Verse number 30 is far more difficult to explain. And there, what happened? Teeth are sticking out. Sorry, the heads are stuck in between. He says, God is licking it and relishing it, he's saying. He's relishing it. Nalla taste aguduppa. Nalla, like how you lick Alfonso mango, Vishwarupa is licking and relishing it. My God. Verse number 30 padingo.
लेलेह्यसेग्रसमानः समन्तात् लोकान् समग्रान् वदनैर्ज्वलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रम् भासस्तवोग्रा प्रतपन्ति विष्णो लेलिह्यसेग्रसमानः समन्तात् लोकान् समग्रान् वदनैर्ज्वलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रम् भासस्तवोग्रा प्रतपन्ति विष्णो.
Swallowing all the people on every side with flaming mouths, you are licking. Your fierce rays filling the whole world with radiance are burning, O Vishnu. Swallowing all the people on every side with flaming mouths, you are licking. Your fierce rays filling the whole world with radiance are burning, O Vishnu. Continuity of the Vishwarupa. The frightful form of Vishwarupa. Everybody is rushing into the mouths. Some got crushed. Some head is sticking in between the teeth. Now what is he doing? Now what is Vishwarupa doing? Licking. Lelihyase. Lelihyase means that expression of contentment while devouring. Asurik Rakshasa, it looks like. It doesn't come anywhere under divine at all. It doesn't come anywhere under divine, because it is like he doesn't even have compassion while at least if I said, oh, you are feeling bad and devouring these people, we feel good. He's not feeling any sense of sadness. Or not only that, the opposite is happening. What is the opposite? He's enjoying that. So Rakshasa, so Asuric it is. So much like a kind of a Rakshasa, so much like a kind of a carnivorous thing it is, isn't it? Ghastly picture. The last 5 verses is ghastly. Thank God we don't understand poetry. We don't see any ghastliness at all in this. So ghastly, so empowering it is. Colossal destruction. How can God be happy at that colossal destruction? Isn't it? The whole lot is getting destroyed, and it seems to be God is happy at that. How do you explain that? How do you understand that? He is supremely satisfied because the law is functioning. What is the law? The law is functioning. What is the law? The karma is functioning. In quite a few places of Bhagavad Gita, you see Krishna having Rakshasic expressions. In chapter 2, verse number 10, Sanjaya says, Arjuna is shivering and shaking, Krishna is smiling. He says, Krishna is laughing and smiling. No, you don't laugh and smile when a person is coming and when a person is coming to you saying, I am in sorrow, misery, crying, and everything, you don't smile. There, Krishna smiled. And the entire discourse he started like that. So inhuman an expression. Similarly, this also inhuman an expression. The proper functioning of the law, the proper functioning of the universal law. And the proper functioning of the universal law is supremely satisfying to the divine. Again, it's poetry, symbolic. What is the poetry here? An essential and beneficial ingredient of life is destruction. We go back to the same question. An essential and beneficial ingredient of life is destruction. Imagine father is alive, grandfather is alive, great-grandfather is alive, great-great-grandfather is alive. What happens? What happens? Thank God they are all. Is that death good or bad? Is that death good or bad? Death is a beneficial ingredient of life. The beneficial ingredient of life is death. What is it meant by beneficial ingredient is of life is death? If death didn't happen, it will be stagnant. If death doesn't happen, if change doesn't happen, it is plastic. It's stagnant. It's foul. For life to be dynamic, moving, alive, alert, change, death has to happen. Do you want a dead life? Do you want a plastic life? Or you want life? If you say, I want life, you have to accept death as a beautiful part of it because it is death that keeps it alive. Therefore, the wise one has no fear of death. The wise one doesn't see death as inimical at all. We see death as inimical. Why we see death as inimical? Because death doesn't mean physical death. It could be death means the end of something. For example, it can be the end of a relationship. At one point of time, we were living in this one part of the city we were living. At another point of time, we decided to shift to the other part of the world. It is like moving from Swarga to Naraka, it is, isn't it? Moving from Mylapore to the any part of the world you go, you will feel homesick, isn't it? Because that place has that charm, something so beautiful in that place, isn't it? Those who are used to Mylapore, when they come to T Nagar, they'll feel homesick. Correct, Appa, Vijay? Huh? You feel homesick, no? Anga Bonali, you feel like you somewhere in the vicinity, Vanda Balsubramaniam. Correct, no? You feel homesick, isn't it? Something is so in that place. Imagine shifting from Mylapore to Chengalpet. How you will feel? Huh? You shifted. That night I couldn't sleep. I was sitting and thinking, what is it that is resisting this? What is it that is going through this pain? The inability to accept the end of something. The inability to accept the inability to accept the end. Because the mind has developed such an affinity that it thought it is going to be like this forever. That's how it should be forever. Now it is not going to be like that forever. No death means no birth. No death means no birth. Imagine only morning, what will happen? Or imagine only night, what will happen? Life cannot survive. For life to survive, pain and death is an essential ingredient. This is the law. Licking is symbolic of appreciating the law is functioning. You follow? Same thing he said already in chapter 4. We didn't understand. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Those three verses, we spent so much of time discussing those three verses. The same thing he's talking about in a same thing which he spoke about in a different way. He's talking about it in a different way here. But the concept is the same. What is the concept? The law will function. And the functioning of the law is supremely satisfying. To whom? To whom it is satisfying? To the divine, not to any one of us. Because for us, the law should always be different. Why it is so difficult to be dharmic? Why it is difficult to accept the law of dharma, the law of karma will function? Why it is difficult to digest? Why it is difficult to accept? Because when you are in pain, you want the pain to see, you want the pain to happen to the other also. When you see the pain that happens to the others immediately, instantly, then only in your eyes, the law is functioning. Supposing you are in pain and the other is not in pain, you say there is no justice at all. Correct? the divine will look at you and say, what are you talking? There is the law that is functioning. What is the law that is functioning? That's a satisfaction. The law that governs the life, that law that decides the very creation itself, and will ensure what? Will ensure that changes will happen. Are you able to follow? Where it is difficult is this. You know what you expect from the world. You are half right. But when the same thing is expected from you by the world, you will say it is wrong. That's why all human beings are half right, half wrong. What is half right? My expectations towards the world. What is my expectation towards the world? Everybody should obey the law. Everybody should be like this. You know exactly what everybody should do. Unfortunately or fortunately, the world also expects the same from you. When the world expects the same from you, you will call it as people are demanding too much, sir. People have lot of expectations, sir. When you expect, it is legitimate. When the other expect, it is suffocating. The divine law is above both. What is the divine law? The law of cause and effect signifies the Lord's satisfaction with the proper functioning of the universal law. You will follow? Licking indicates satisfaction. God is so supremely satisfied. The divine is so supremely satisfied. What is the satisfaction? The law is functioning. What is the law that is functioning? What is the law that is functioning? The law of karma. What does the law of karma says? You adhere to dharma, there is a consequence. You violate dharma, there is a consequence. This proper functioning is satisfaction. You adhere to dharma, there is a consequence. You violate dharma, there is a consequence. So what is the satisfaction of the divine? You sticking to dharma, the consequences happens without fail. You violate dharma, the consequences happens without fail. Wherever there is fear, pain, sorrow, suffering, law has been violated. Dharma has been violated. But you can never accept it. Nobody will be able to accept it because everybody likes to play the game of what? I am the victim and somebody has. What is the victim na? Who's the fellow? Who's the fellow? Victimizer. Who do you call that person? What do you call that person? If you say you are, if I say I am a victim, somebody has done something to me. No, what is that person called?
Victor servant.
I am the exploited. The one is the exploiter. I am the victim, the perpetrator. I am the victim, the aggressor. Whatever be it. The law is very clear. What is the law? Whenever you are in pain, you violated dharma. There cannot be a pain if you have not violated dharma. That's where even if you are physically tortured, also there will not be a pain. Because what is saving you there? What is protecting you there? The dharma. So the pain is not of the body pain. Body pain also will not matter to you if you have been dharmic by nature. But again, we are so, our ideas of life, our things of life is so narrow that we don't understand dharma at all. Again, I repeat, whenever you experience a pain, a sorrow, a suffering, a misery, a frustration, a agitation, it means the law is functioning. What is the law? Dharma is violated. Okay, you stick to dharma. You stick to dharma and you are burnt alive. What happens? You come out of the fire, fire will not have the capacity to touch you. Because what is saving you? What is protecting you? Dharma is protecting. Are you able to follow? If the conviction is on dharma, even if you put into fire, you will come out not burnt. Why? Fire cannot burn you because what is shielding you? What is protecting you? Dharma. You know, even today, the most debated thing in Rama is Agni Pariksha of Sita. How dare he can send Sita to? How dare he send? This is called male thing. If Rama can send Sita into fire, Sita also can send Rama into fire. Rama, all this is politics discussion, isn't it? We all don't know dharma. We don't know what dharma is. If you have understood dharma, you know that what is protected Sita is dharma. What is the dharma that protected Sita? Rama has asked me to enter fire, I will enter fire, full stop. For Sita cannot think of Rama will have any intention of hurting her. If Rama is asking her to enter the fire, it means what? Fire will lose its capacity to. The fire lost its capacity. What is the capacity of the fire? Anything that comes in contact, it burns. Sita entered into fire and came out unhurt. Even her dress didn't get burnt, isn't it? What does it mean? What is it that is, what is this? What is the protecting factor there? What is the protecting factor there? Rama is not the protecting factor there. What is the protecting factor? Dharma is the protecting factor. She is so convinced that she's so convinced that, not convinced, because everybody believes they are dharmic only. No, who believes they are adharmic? She stuck to the law of life so completely that whether you know or you don't know, whether you get convinced or you don't get convinced, that is not the point. The point is what? The dharma protected her completely. It means what? Even fire, you are put in ocean, you will float and come out alive, not as a dead body. Even dead body will float. No. Ocean will lose the capacity to drown you. Fire will lose the capacity to burn you. Why? Because what is saving you? What is protecting you? Dharma. And what does dharma means? Dharma means no kartrutva, no ego, no selfishness. That is dharma. What is dharma? Dharma doesn't mean good. Dharma means what? No kartrutva, no selfishness whatsoever. All this description fits me very well, sir, but still I am suffering. That is why dharma I have no conviction on. All the description that you said just now fits me so well because I'm so convinced what I do is always good only. I'm so convinced. I'm doing that only I have done. That's why, sir, in the age of Kali Yuga and all, maybe dharma and all doesn't work. There is no Kali Yuga, there is no Satya Yuga. In all yugas, there is only one thing that functions. What is that one thing that functions? It is dharma. I have defined what is dharma. What is dharma? Selflessness is dharma. Selfishness is adharma. Unselfish, sir? Partly both. Yeah, partly both. What is unselfishness? Partly both. Remember that example? What is that example for unselfishness? You will be traveling by the bus. You look through the window. There will be the car, air-conditioned car, and the windows come down, and there will be the dog's face out of the car window. You will think it is better to be the dog than to be here. That is unselfishness. Dog in an air-conditioned car. What difference does it make? At the end of it, are you able to follow? What is dharma? Selflessness is dharma. What is adharma? Selfishness is adharma. Unselfishness is ரெண்டும் கட்டா இங்கேயும் கிடையாது அங்கேயும் கிடையாது. ஸோ அதனால it will be more complicated. The Lord's satisfaction. What is the Lord's satisfaction? The law, licking as it were. Licking and enjoying the taste of licking. Licking implies enjoying the taste. Colossal destruction is not colossal destruction at all. It is colossal destruction in the eyes of the human. In the eyes of the reality, the law is functioning. Verse number 31 padinga.
याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपः नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम् न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम् आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपः नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम् न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्.
Make known to me who you are, fierce in form. Salutation to you, O Supreme God. Have mercy. I desire to know you, the primeval. I know not indeed your purpose. Make known to me who you are, fierce in form. Salutation to you, O Supreme God. Have mercy. I desire to know you, the primeval. I know not indeed your purpose. From wonderment to the fear to what he's saying now, I don't understand the purpose of any of these things. Who are you? What are you? Why are you even doing? Why are you even doing all these? At the same time, he's saying he seeks mercy. Forgive me, forgive me. Yeah. When you're asking for forgiveness, fear. What is the fear? Like they say, no? Be lenient in punishment. That is mercy, isn't it? You can't escape punishment, but at least make sure the punishment is lenient. Don't punish so badly, isn't it? Do consider this, consider this, consider this, so that you can reduce the quantum of the punishment. Have mercy means what? Reduce the quantum of punishment. All benevolent, all merciful God is seen as all devastating, destructive, licking. Now, what happened? This is what happened to Arjuna. Ram Subramaniam. You, all along you have been thinking God is all benevolent, all merciful, forgive பண்ணினே இருப்பாரு, என்ன தப்புனாலும் பரவாயில்ல, அவர்கிட்ட போனா he will forgive you, so that you can go back and do more and more of the same mistakes. Again, your job is to make mistakes, his job is to keep forgiving. What a complete picture of God we have had till now. Vishwarupaku கோயிலே கட்ட மாட்டாங்க யாரும். You know that, no? Nobody will want to build a temple for Vishwarupa. Everybody will want to build a temple for what? Yeah, benevolent, merciful, forgiving. It's okay. I will take care of you. Just என் கட்சியில சேர்ந்துரு, அவ்வளவுதான். என் கட்சியில சேர்ந்துட்டீங்கன்னா all your mistakes will be forgiven. என் கட்சியில ஜாயின் பண்ணல, even for the mistake of others, you will be, because our God is a politician, our God is a merciful God. Vishwarupa is never our God. Yeah. Our God is always politician. Our idea of God is a politician. Our idea of God is benevolent. Benevolent na our கட்சியில சேர்ந்துட்டா benevolent. இல்லையா? அவர் கட்சியில சேரலன்னா ஆப்போனன்ட் கட்சியில இருந்தா என்ன ஆகும்? ஸ்ரீகாந்த் இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் ரைடு தான் வரும், isn't it? அவர் கட்சியில இருந்துட்டா யாரும் வர மாட்டாங்க. ஆப்போசிட் கட்சியில இருந்தா எல்லாம் வரும், இல்லையா? பெனவலண்ட். So you worship God as long as you worship God with the benevolent thing. Now, what is God here? What is the God that he saw? The Kala Tattva, the destructive nature. Kala Tattva is going to say it next to us. I'm not elaborating it. We are going to elaborate it next week. Because Krishna himself is saying, I am that Kala Tattva. He's going to say that. What is the fear? Arjuna, have mercy. Have mercy. Mercy means what? Reduce the quantum of punishment. Reduce the quantum of punishment. He's confused. From merciful God, he has seen that devastating form of the God. As long as you don't see the devastating form of God, you are okay. If you have seen the devastating aspect of God, you find it difficult to accept it. What has happened here? Having seen the devastating form, Arjuna is asking the question. What is the question? Who are you? அவர் தானே கேட்டாரு விஸ்வரூபா காட்டுங்கன்னு. He only asked to know. Now he is asking, who are you? ஏன்னா நான் கேட்ட ஆளே வேற, isn't it? நான் கேட்ட ஆள் வந்து பொலிட்டீஷியன் காட என்கிட்ட வான்னு I asked. Come to me like the political God. Come to me like what we worship. இல்லையா? இன்னைக்கு வேர்ல்டுல வர்ஷிப் பண்ற காட் மாதிரி வான்னா, you came in your real form. You didn't understand my question only, Krishna. You came in your real form, you came. Having come, you came in your real form, I am confused. I don't know who you are now, what you are. Who are you? What is your purpose? Because what I thought you are and what is your purpose is very different. What I thought you are, merciful, benevolent. And what I thought, what is your purpose? To protect us. To protect us. All the Pandava side will be completely protected. All the Kaurava side will be completely annihilated. அனிஹிலேஷன் கூடாது. பார்டருக்கு இந்த பக்கம் நாங்க சந்தோஷமா இருக்கிறத பார்டருக்கு அந்த பக்கம் அவங்க இருந்து பார்க்கணும். பார்டருக்கு அந்த பக்கம் இருந்து ஸ்டமக் பர்னிங் ஆனாதான் the purpose of the war is saved. All of them are annihilated. Now, what is the purpose of the war itself? So, according to Arjuna, what is benevolent God? According to Arjuna, what is benevolent God? Ensure that Kauravas will go to exile for 13 years. What all suffering we went through, they will also go through. And what all happened to us, then only Dharma, what is it? Level playing field. Then only Dharma is functioning. If not, there is only Adharma. All that is what Arjuna thought. Now Vishwarupa showed the truth of life. When the truth of life is shown, Arjuna is confused. What is the confusion? Who are you? What is your purpose? Who are you and what is your purpose? For which is going to give the answer next week. Who are you and what is the purpose? He is going to give beautiful answer to that, which will continue next week.